On to you, Aquarius. How y'all doing? It's not loud. So for you, Aquarius, you have the Ten of Michael, the Knight of Gabriel, and then you, Aquarius, have the Eight of Raphael. Anyway, so for you, Aquarius, right? Okay. Straighten up, calm down. All right. So, okay, so I think somebody trying to run game on y'all. Somebody's trying to make it seem like they've been betrayed or something like that. That they're trying to make it seem like the both of you have done actions or done things. Two wrongs don't make a right type of thing. And so the situation with that is a lot of y'all are in a position where y'all are looking at it like that, right? Or at least, excuse me, not y'all are looking at it like that. They're looking at it like that. And for you, you're like, no, because you've been here. Ten of Michael, you've been through that already. Like, again, you know what it feels like when someone tries to make it seem or twist the situation and make it seem like two wrongs don't make a right. We should kiss and make up. And you probably have fallen for that before. And you're not going to fall for that now. It is what it is. You're going to walk away regardless of the who to what. And wow, it was actually a chip on my shoulder. No pun intended. Anyway, the Seven of Michael and the Eight of Michael right here represent how, wow, that was quite ironic. Anyway, I got the chip off my shoulder. Anyway, the Seven of Michael and the Eight of Michael for you, Aquarius, is about how no, you know, the boundaries still stand. You won't accept these people back, because one thing that you Pisces have learned to do is to stop accepting people back in, right? I've talked about this ad nauseum. I used to talk about this way back in like 2015, no, like 2016, when an Aquarius, shout outs to her actually. I'm not gonna say her name because I swore after a certain time I would never mention her, but to protect her identity, right? But and I got love for her. She knows who she is, but she told me, she was like, yo, she was like, you told me that I live in a bubblegum world. And I was like, and she laughed at that. And I don't know, maybe she got offended. Maybe she got upset when I said that to her. Maybe, I hope she didn't. But I didn't mean it in disrespect. And the reason why it is that I told her that is because I understand the mentality of an Aquarius. An Aquarius who is wet behind the ears thinks that everybody is their friend. They think that even people that are not actually friends with you, who are ops, are your friends at some point in time. But what I'm trying to get you Aquarius to understand, and I've successfully done it, thankfully, is the fact that those people can do things for you, but they're not necessarily exactly your friends. Like, you know, those type of people where, good example, right? You friends with somebody, they betray you, or maybe relationships, they betray you, but then at the same time, y'all are not together, or y'all are not friends, but then it's like y'all hang out, right? They come around you every now and again, and they do things for you that's good, that you like, but then you can't keep hanging out with them because they're gonna betray you, right? It's kind of like a thing where it's like you got to feed them with a long spoon. You start hanging out with them, right? Let's just, today is Monday. Okay, you start hanging out with them on a Monday, right? I'm doing this on a Monday, so you'll see this on a Tuesday. But you start hanging out with them on a Monday, you ain't seen them for a long time. They doing a lot of great things for you, Aquarius. They they out here, they trying to cook, they putting some dollars in your pocket, they treating you well out here, right? Anything you want. Then you start hanging out with them on Tuesday and Wednesday. They getting mad. Now you didn't ask them to do all of that stuff the day before, but now they looking at it like you being greedy. But you didn't ask them to do any of that like that. You didn't ask them to serve you. You didn't ask them to give you a plate of food. You didn't ask them to put some money in your pocket. But then at the same time, they get upset. And then the way that they go about showing you how disrespectful they could be is very sneaky. It's very wrong. It's very disrespectful, right? And they're creative with their disrespect as well, right? They get you or they hit you in every aspect, every area of life where you think that you're not going to be disrespected, you're disrespected. Familial, so it's like you understand that you got to feed these people with a long spoon. And that's what's happening here. You, Aquarius, are realizing, well, not realizing, but you have learned, right? Or especially within the last few years, right? Several years, that, okay, you can't keep doing that. You can't keep thinking, okay, these people are your friends. You know, you can kind of like feed them with a long spoon and like be a friend from afar, but like a close friend. That's why it's called a what? A close friend. And then you have friends that basically you feed with a long spoon. You gotta, you know what I mean? You feed them from 10 blocks away, right? And if you're from New York City or California, that's far, because a block is a long way. But like, you know what I'm saying? A block is basically like a quarter mile in New York City, basically, depending on what street you on. But the point that I'm trying to make here with that is that the point that I'm trying to make here with that is like the mere fact that you got to do that, it proves to you how much it is that you, Aquarius, have learned, and how treacherous, if you're not paying attention, right, things can end up being for you, where it's like you lower your guard and then you trust people again, and then the next thing you know, they use that as an opportunity to get at you again. And so the page of Michael, the Empress, and the Justice right here for you, Aquarius, excuse me, again, it just represents how a lot of you've been through all of that already. And so the Empress is about the self-respect. The Empress and the Justice, both Libra, both ruled by Venus because it's Libra, right? Both of these represent Libra, Empress and the Justice. So Libra is ruled by Venus. Venus is the planet of self-respect. So once again, right, like, so you have that level of self-respect. Somebody betrayed your trust recently, and so you cut them off. You don't want to have anything to do with them, right? So now it's a matter of the Four of Gabriel and the Knight of Gabriel. Excuse me, Four of Gabriel and the Knight of Raphael. Finding new people to enjoy or spend your time with. Or sometimes you, Aquarius, may not even want to spend your time with other people. Y'all may find something to do that makes you feel like there's many people in the room with you, you know? Some sort of outlet in which you do not feel like you're lonely. You're just physically alone, but you don't feel necessarily lonely. This is where you, Aquarius, are right now. You know what I'm saying? This is where you, Aquarius, are. So the situation for you, Aquarius, is that y'all are good. I know some of you, Aquarius, that like to go hiking. You like to do this, like to do that, like to do whatever, like to do the other. And that's great. That's great. You know, I know a lot of you, Aquarius, who like to go fishing and all of that stuff. You know, I know a lot of y'all who like to, you know, not a lot, but some of y'all who like to go like hunting, right? Some of y'all like to do archery, bows and arrows and that. I'm hopefully going to do that for my birthday, archery, right? Bows and arrows. But if I don't, I'll figure something out next year. You know what I'm saying? I'll probably end up spending for it next year. But my family usually likes to take me out for my birthday. Shout outs to my family, by the way. But so you Aquarius are just doing what you got to do, you know. Um, if you're an Aquarius and you're in an established bond, uh, this could spell a divorce. This could be one of them. This could be one of those where, you know, person betrayed your trust and you don't want to have anything to do with them. If this is not you, Aquarius, don't even worry about it. Whatever situation that you Aquarius got going on, if it doesn't represent you and you're living your life well, then you good. You ahead of the curve. You don't have to, you dodged this one. So let's clarify the Knight of Raphael and then get out of here. Potentially. So to clarify the Knight of Raphael, you have the Knight of Swords, the Chariot, the Ten of Swords, the Ace of Swords, and then the Scorpio energy. So anyway, right, the Knight of the King of Swords, I said the Knight, the King of Swords, the Chariot, and the Ten of Swords, to clarify the Knight of Raphael. The Knight of Raphael would be like the Knight of Cups. So there's a sense of you creating that brand new, that group, that a new group. It's not hard for you Aquarius. It's not hard. Y'all are a social sign. You know, the air signs represents groups, right? Your own personality and the groups and all of that. And the King of Swords, the Chariot, and the Ten of Swords right here speaks to how a lot of you are in a position where you Aquarius are not going to seek revenge or try to get a get back, because some of you Aquarius may already know that that's not going to cause anything but worse outcomes. So you'll decide to not go after these people, even though you want to or you could, for their betrayal, right? Because Aquarius has to go through a lot of betrayal, and so ironically, right? And so, you know, if you let your darker thoughts take over, I ain't gonna be good. So a lot of you Aquarius, you chill. And then you have the Ace of Swords and the Scorpio energy, right? Like I said, furthermore, confirmation of not looking to do any wrong in that sense. So you're not, but you're not though. You're just moving forward, and you'll create another group, or you'll find a hobby that puts you in a position where you're great. You know, you'll find a hobby. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I know a lot of you Aquarius off camera even, and you know, y'all like y'all hobbies, and I don't have a problem with that. You know, I know Aquarius like to do different things, right? Some of y'all do basketball, you know what I'm saying? Some of y'all do trucking. Shout outs to all y'all. Some of y'all who, you know, fish and do bow and arrows and all of that. Like I said before, shout outs to y'all. You know, even if I ain't necessarily you know, even if me and you aren't on the best of terms, right? I know a lot of y'all like to network all day and do whatever it is that y'all do. Y'all don't feel lonely, you know? The only Aquarius who feel, I'm not gonna say the only, I'm not gonna finish that sentence, but the Aquarius who usually feel lonely are the ones who either don't have like a whole lot of other stuff that they do that makes them feel like they're not lonely, or individuals who are insecure, who haven't learned to actually figure out what it is about them, why it is that they're so lonely in the first place. Other than that, you Aquarius are good though. You know, if y'all are going through a breakup, you Aquarius are continuing to move forward regardless. You know, and I've talked about this a couple of times before. Whenever I go through a breakup, or somebody betrays me or something like that, there's a point in time where I didn't know them, right? You know, there was a point in time where I didn't know Ren, you know, respectfully, you know, because I don't even, at this point, the beef is done. The beef is done. I already, you know what I'm saying? Like, the beef is done at this point. I don't even care to go back and forth anymore, stuff like this, but, or at all. But, you know, you know what I'm saying? Like, fishing and all this other type of stuff. Good for her. You feel me? Good for her. You know, there was a point in time where I didn't know her. Then I did know her. And there's a point in time where it is that I know of her now, instead of knowing her personally. And I go right back into the void again of not being around. Life goes on. I'll find other things that I got going on. I'm already doing it. That's what happens when you have a life. Comment on the video, like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, share the video. Trying to get the YouTube channel to 100K. I'm actually coming up on 24,000 already. We out here. Thank y'all so much. Smash the subscribe button, smash the like button, hit the notification bell, set the notification bell to all so you can be notified whenever I drop my videos. And if you'd like to come through and get a personal reading, the link to that is in the comment section below, called the Linktree link. Peace.